Well, good evening, everybody. It's been one heck of a day. Politicians lining up to make their grand statements, telling each and every one of you all the things that they think they can guarantee for you, what they can deliver throughout the world. Because Canada is the biggest hypocrite and liar I've ever seen in my life. And I go all over the world. I go out there. This year, you're going to see me travel to many countries that no Canadian would even dare do at this time in our history. That's the truth. I'm going to be doing that in the real first person for all of you. I'm very fortunate in life. I grew up in a small community, but of that community, a lot of people did some pretty amazing things. One friend I have of which is global. He actually physically goes around the world. His passport is unlike any other Canadian's, as it's stamped multiple times, multiple countries. There is no Canadian outside of maybe some billionaires, but there's no other Canadian that's had a passport stamped in as many countries throughout as many continents as this particular Canadian has. Very good friend of mine. He has seen COVID in so many different jurisdictions, in absolute restrictions, travel restrictions, what's mandated for you all over the world, all over the Asian world, all over the European world. He has literally seen it all, folks. All of it. 2 years of COVID, he spent nearly half his time in absolute lockdown, like no other Canadian. Think about it. A foreign country being locked away under isolations. Some of those have been all different. 21 days, 14 days, 10 days. It goes on and on and on. Canada, folks. Canada, and any politician, conservative, liberal, telling you that they can remove anything for you in international travel or international cross-jurisdictional is a liar. 180 million%. I can tell you this. You travel to a country, that country dictates how you're going to do that and what you're going to have to follow. Because the second you leave your country, doesn't matter Commonwealth and the rest of the lunacy, wherever you go, your Canadian politicians, absolutely, and 1,000,000%, I can guarantee you, they cannot deliver on anything they tell you. If you don't believe me, I know 2 reporters who just got back from China. Ask them how well Canada is at defining any way, shape, or form any foreign policy on Canadian citizens in another country. Ask them. And this isn't the only story. You think journalists have stories to tell you? There's lots throughout everywhere. Many Canadians will tell you this. Don't trust your lying, filthy, big mouth, loser, lunatic politicians. Because everything that comes out of their mouth is 150 million%. 100 million% of the time, a lie. Always a lie. It's a lie to get you to vote for them. Tell Canadians everything they want to hear. And when you get elected, turn around and punch them in the face as hard as you can. Rip their pants off and rape them. Most Canadians, a lot of Canadians, will even assist the politician. They'll handcuff themselves to their ankles. They'll do all kinds of things that are completely out of touch with reality. This is Canada. It's a mob-like mentality of the slave class. That's what the third class does. Looking for a superman or superwoman to take you forward. That's what we do in Canada. Unlike most of the countries in the world, there are countries laughing at what they're seeing. People in good, strong circles going, they're saying, what? remove all what? Restrictions for where? Never going to happen. And if you think you're going to just go to a country and impose your laws or your views on a whole wide range of countries, 205 in the world, 195 are UN states with absolute autonomy, sovereignty, and nobody, no company, no nothing tells them how it is. They tell them with their institution, their laws. This is universal. It's called nationalism. He said it. All the rest of the world understands nationalism, except for a handful of UN states. Canada's one of them. We don't have a concept of nationalism. Barely have a military. We don't even have sovereignty and rule of law for the people. We don't. Read your Canadian Constitution. The Consolidated Constitution, again, for the millionth time I've said it, the Constitution consolidated 1867, 1982, and your Charter, which you can find in the middle of the combined three documents which make up the Constitution of Canada. I know this is radical. I know it's way out in left field for the lying politicians, but the first it's not even a third. That's not even right to say. The Crown Customary Law, the 1867 Constitution, is nearly a little over 55% of what really governs you in this country. 55%. The Charter is a page you can wipe your butt with. The section of upgrades from Pierre Elliott Trudeau, the Liberals of 1982, another one charter and implementation in a long 950-year list of charters for constitutional monarchies or monarchies that have never amounted to nothing but butt wipe. Because who makes those who make these and govern you accountable to anything? Nothing. There's nothing in the Constitution that makes them accountable to you, the people. Because, contrary to popular belief, in that first 55% of the customary law, which makes up the Constitution of Canada, it clearly says you're not in it. You're garbage. You're nothing. You will shut up. You only have two rights in this country. You can vote every 4 years or whenever the Crown decides to hold an election. Or you can make a political party and try to defeat the Crown. That never happens. That's never going to happen. The Crown doesn't lose. They always draw a royal flush. You can find this in your Constitutional Act of Canada, 1867-1982, all the way throughout. The Charter is always unbound. It's stated before it's presented, and it's stated after. I've gone over the sections in large detail. You, the people, don't exist. Not of the business class, and definitely not of the third class. You are a slave. More than that are the first people who aren't even recognized as real Canadians in this country. You're a problem. As always has been stated throughout history. Again, this isn't me being mean. I'm only relaying to you what's right in front of you. The Constitutional Act of Canada, 1867-1982, with the B section, your charter. A small portion of a massive document, 3 documents in fact, that give you nothing and take everything from you. Very old system, mostly outlawed throughout the entire world. The world's waking up to it. Today we see politicians making fabulous promises, ending this, ending that. Let me tell you what's happening around the rest of the world. The third world has low vaccine rates. They want much higher vaccine rates. Countries like Canada give already nearly expired vaccines that nobody else wanted. They're a week before their expiry date. Justin Trudeau packs them up in an airplane, flies it to a third world country and goes, "Here you go. No cryogenics, no nothing. Just dump it off in the warehouse. We delivered, hey, Canadians, I'm a liar. The conservatives and liberals are liars. We love the rest of the world. We love them so much. All the vaccines were rotten before they could even get them out of the warehouse. Eh? That's just and true. You wouldn't believe how many countries think Canada's a total piece of shit. All your politicians are viewed worldwide as pieces of shit. That's how you're looked at. Most of the world hates Canada. If you don't believe me, just look at the UNSC vote for Trudeau. Before that, it was Stephen Harper. We get worse and worse globally as the rest of the world wakes up to the fact of what Canada is. A country that only allows a very small amount of the land for the people, much, much less than what China releases to its people. A massive, bountiful lot less than what Vladimir Putin releases to his people. Our lying, filthy politicians report to the UN our density. The Canadians have so much space to live and make money and do all these incredible things. Except for that's not true. You have provincial and federal crown land. No Canadian can live there. No first person can live there. You can go on it. You can enjoy it in different rules. But you can't earn a living there. You can't harvest there. You can't get a home there. You can't establish a business there. It doesn't belong to any of you. Well, who does it belong to? But Wikipedia says it's the Queen of England. No, that all ended, everybody, in absolutely 1952. It was abolished in 1941, promised away by King George VI, Queen Elizabeth's father. We have all the records for that. They're clearly published worldwide. Everybody knows except for your average Canadian. Your average Canadian is to be kept in the dark. So's the average Australian and the average New Zealander. These kind of things aren't good for people to know. It's not even good for America to know, or Russia to know, or many other really powerful nations around the world. They don't even have to be the ultimate powerhouses. There's lots of countries. In fact, about 80% of the countries in the world today could defeat Canada toe-to-toe in war in a heartbeat. Gone in 60 seconds. Literally. It's very likely Philippines could defeat us in a war. If the Philippines chose to go to war with Canada, there's a good and strong likelihood that they could defeat us in a war. If it was a Canada versus Philippines. That's just the Philippines. Now Canada brags, oh, but we got fighters and missiles. We're not going to be shooting fighters and missiles into cities, Justin Trudeau. See, this is the thing, Canadians. Canadians get a false sense of security in how the world works. We're a laughing stock and a joke. Your politicians rape you constantly. They lie out on the world. They lie to you each and every day. We, I guess, happily accept that as something that we're supposed to embrace, love. We're not to have any rules of law. We're not to have any independent judiciary. We're supposed to go along with whatever lies they regurgitate. And even though we're never delivered upon, we're supposed to just smile and pay all the bills. That's what your politicians do. It's been done time and time again. Now, why is Canada a first world country, you ask? Why would they be? Well, it's funny you mention that because that crown land, that first-class politicians' crown land, that not the Queen of England owns, it's actually federal crown land, belongs to whoever you've elected Prime Minister through His Majesty Governor General. He allows foreign businesses to come in here, rape, pillage, plunder you at deep discounts on all those lands. Each province has the same geared system too, and those premiers do the same thing. Opposition parties bring it up, they cause them trouble, payoffs all around. Citizens Canadian are never any wiser. First, people go absolutely off the rails and mind you, I agree with that. This is wrong. When do they get a settlement? When do we get these lands ceded and settled? Much the same way as Russia, much the same way as the United States of America. In fact, much the same as almost everywhere in the world, except for Australia and New Zealand. Those same colonial builds, those first ones. Why do we let it slide? Why do we report to the UN as liars? Why do we accept lies when our politicians tell us things like, oh, don't worry, all international travel is going to be removed? I can guarantee you that. And I know there's a heck of a lot of folks out there who already know, who've traveled all of their working lives, already know. Whichever country you're going in there, they tell you how it's going to be. And if you don't want to follow, hey, go ahead, try your luck. Again, ask those two reporters released from China, how did that work out for you taking Canada's advice? Talking Mr. Big Time. Just saying, they're not the only ones. There are a whole pile of journalists who've gone through this. I'm going to shoot my mouth off in a foreign country. I'm going to be a big guy or a big girl, and they end up in horrific circumstances that they would never, ever like to repeat ever in public, let alone ever write about it. Many don't. That's the end of their career. And if you ask them today what they think of Canada and Canada's politicians, they'll let you know. They'll let you know. That's how it works, everybody. Should restrictions be gone provincially and federally inside Canada? Endemic results have been out since Christmas time, everybody. I've put it out there. I've stated it multiple times. I'm fully vaccinated. I shouldn't even wear a mask. I should be allowed to go to my job. No questions asked. No questions asked. I should have a free life inside Canada. But I don't. And I already know that there is no way Canada is just going to walk away from this, or any of the politicians. They will find a way to drag us back in. Every little variant, every little thing that comes forward, even though we have blood tests from the third world. What moved the UK? We have a country that went through all the blood vials in the AIDS pandemic in a third world country, because they do that. They have to do that. And they went back and tested for COVID-19. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5th wave. And guess what? 80% of the vials have traces of the antibodies for COVID-19, meaning 80% of the population from first, second, third, fourth, 5th wave all had COVID-19. The chances of a Canadian who hasn't been exposed or had COVID-19, whether you knew it or not, whether your T cells wiped it from your body before you knew it, the chances are it's already happened. A large majority. I did the vaccines, mandated. I know I'm not getting out of it if I wish to leave Canada, regardless of how I believe or how I feel, or how many convoys and rallies and kick, stamp my feet. It don't work like that. And you know, these people who talk about, well, America does what they want. I can tell you right now, there's a whole publication in the United States of America, Republican, Democrat, does not matter. We can go to the Joe Biden administration. I pulled the numbers when it was Donald Trump. It will show you how many Americans have been put to death, jailed, and sentenced all over the world. I don't see USA doing a World War III over it. And if you think it's just, oh, well, they're probably bad citizens, I can tell you much of it's military, much of it was the CIA. It's published for all of you. They'll even show you which countries sentenced these folks to death, these citizens of America. That's the way the world works. It's called independent states. We're all UN states. Not everybody operates fairly. Most operate autocratically. How your country operates is decided by your government and your constitution. You want to change things? Let's start with constitutionalism. Federal dismemberment redesigned federally, and absolutely provincial design for the first time in recorded history. That's what has to be done. Share it out, share it to friends, get me out there if you can. If you can't, don't lose sleep about it. You'll see at the bottom of the video, as I'm going to do from now on in all my posts, this is how Canada operates. This is how Facebook Canada must operate in Canada, or they don't have a platform. That's how it works. This is your government. It's not Bill Gates. It's not all of these billionaires throughout the world. Klaus Schwab's, WEF. People have their narratives. They could be crazy considered to us in different retrospects. Some Canadians think it's great. A lot don't. Politicians love all of it as long as they're getting rich. The reality at the end of the day, folks, none of these players, not even the mighty United States of America, not the mighty Russian Federation, can come into Canada and impose their will, because then they would lose all their power. Canada knows this. Everybody knows this. Unless you get your government breaching serious international laws established by the superpowers. But this is the promise of the world. You get yourself out of it. And that's what we have to do. If we can't prove international human rights violations to a major scale, we have to do it. We have to build the party. It has to be done federally. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what we need to do. CPCC, Party of the Canadian Constitutionalists. That's the work we're going to do. That's where we're going. If we don't, everybody, if we don't, you will have the Klaus Schwabs, all of them, all the billionaires, all the organizations, and you can keep blaming them, but their mission is to make money. And if your country's dumb enough or corrupt enough to allow them in, they'll exploit it. If it wasn't them, it will be the next range of billionaires, and the ones after that, and the organizations after that, the foreign powers after that. It won't matter, because your country makes it happen. There's only one group to blame here: your elected politicians, who believe and are trained constitutionally to become gods, deities over you. If you don't believe me, please, again, for the umpteenth, hundredth, millionth time, go read your Constitution. Lewis and Holmes combined all three separate acts into one document. It's not to be made this hard, this complicated. That is also a failure of rule of law. But regardless of that, take those documents as they are through Lewis and Holmes. Start in 1867. Read it. Every time you don't understand something, look it up. What's called comparative law is when you say, this is the preamble of my Constitution. How does that rate to the rest of the constitutions in the world? Well, you can go on worldconstitutionday.org. You can go on there, and you will find a great publication of a system where you can type any country in the world with a text like preamble, or you can type a country and then compare it to the rest of the world. Uh-oh, Canada. Your constitution doesn't match anybody. Nobody. Except for three. Three others in that codified range. It's not good. Australia and New Zealand. Everybody else has a we the people, or at least representing their own country. There are many, many different variations. I promise you, of all the different variations and the routes we go in different forms of government, nobody looks like Canada. Nobody gives away their sovereignty. Nobody omits all the people of the country. Nobody gives their sovereignty away to a foreign country, a foreign empire, a majesty. Nobody does that. Only 3 countries, 3 lunatic countries, who all have the same problems. Constant lying, constant tomfoolery, absolute thievery, rape, murder, genocide. These things keep coming forward over and over. This is Canada. It's an endemic, folks. We've known for a very long time. In Canada, throughout all the regions, this has got to go. It should have went the first week of January. Absolutely. But they're not going to end that. They got all their different rules and displays and, 3 week and, we're going to do this, no, we're going to do that. And everybody's saying, look, BC's doing this. Now Quebec's doing a 360, a 180. Alberta's trying to, because they've lost voting power. So now they're going to play like, look, we're opening first. Go to the United States, see how that works. Learn that these up and down yo-yo laws that we've been going throughout the pandemic, riding waves of, you're open, now the law's this, the law's this, no, it's that. In worldwide views of rule of law, that is one of the elements of a country that's absolutely not an autocracy, is that laws are uniform and they have consistency. Canadians, has there been any legal consistency in law for the last 2 years? On a flashlight, this pandemic, it only highlighted that you don't have any rule of law. It was never stable. It's up and down like a yo-yo. You can't even learn one law before the next week they've changed the other one. Snap of a finger, they add massive fines, penalties, jail sentences, remove rights, implement rights. All of these things violate the basis of rule of law and absolutely the independence of judiciary. It shows that your politicians, not skilled, not knowledgeable, do whatever they want once elected for their term. And you have to put up with it. Absolute autocracy, idiocracy, kleptocracy. You wouldn't believe all the names out there. And countries give them up to you. We had Central America, South America giving us so much last night, just pouring it out. And then everyone's looking at Canada going, what are we dealing with here? Some kind of monster we've never seen before. That's reality, folks. I've tagged a whole bunch of politicians. They're all liars, cheats, thieves. They lie to you each and every day. You fall for it over and over again. And they're only going to rape, pillage, plunder, even murder you, depending on what level of life you are. Third class, absolutely first peoples. These people wouldn't hesitate to murder you if you get in the way of filling up their back pocket. All of them. And there's more. There's many more. They all get corrupted. And it's within record time. Backbench to front bench. The Crown customary law. Becoming one with Privy Council. Learning that you're a deity over the filthy people in the third class. Putting up with the second class. And if they step out of line, destroy their business, they can go back to third class. Work like a slave. And you, the first people, watch out. They'll get rid of you right off this continent. That's their mission. Stronger, harder than anyone ever before them. Fact. That's my video. Share, share, share. Don't share in groups. Are there any questions? I got Tina, because I won't be able to like. I won't even be able to comment. Tina can go through if anybody has any questions. Tina will recite them. I'll go through it. I can see some stuff. I see Terry Hand. Yeah, ignorance is the single most... oh, jeez, it jumped. It's better Tina does it every time I touch it. And he said constitutional interview edited. Yeah, something there, but... Yeah, Sadie says, my son told me we had no rights, never really seen it, but my eyes are totally open now, and that's good. It's good. Everybody's eyes should be open. The country will never be any better, even when the pandemic goes, and eventually it will if the world signs off on it. But as long as your crown autocrats can use it as a weapon, they absolutely will. Here we go. Tina's ready.
Terry Hand states Canada depends entirely on USA. They pay the price for that.
Yeah. Robert, I see your comment. Your time will come to shine, David. Keep on singing a merry tune. Yeah, just telling the truth, Robert. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert was my political advisor back in 2019. He's had bouts with cancer. We got a remission here, so I know for so many people that's a huge issue. Robert's been through the mill on cancer, a truly outstanding individual, especially in anything he does, but medical now. So if you're facing cancer, Robert may be the guy. He's also just an incredibly smart on the political realm. He's a closet genius, best kept secret. A lot of people have had the pleasure of Robert, myself included. I like strong minds, and it's great to have you back, Robert. It's been a lot of years, so I'm happy to see you again, my friend. It's great. Anything else there, Tina?
Um, Sadie says, "Oh, I guess you
I
read
got
that one."
Yeah, there's a bunch here,
There's
but
not really.
I see
There's just,
the B&A of Canada Constitution Act 82 are not constitution, they are acts. People kind of never had consented to be governed. Terry, this is really important, and I have to tell you, in the world today since 1945, that doesn't matter. I'm sorry, my friend. Communism exists. China doesn't matter, man. All over the world, there are many, many different forms of government, even constitutional monarchies, complete autocrats, super civil law socialists, and they got country status. They go forward. I can show you all over the world ugly, ugly countries as bad as Canada, and even some much, much worse. It's the human rights violations that you catch. All these things about the people didn't have this, the people don't. I get that. I'm not saying Canada's dysfunctional. I'm the first one going, yeah, all of it's bullshit. Those constitutions are crap. They're acts made by government. But I'll tell you right now, the United Kingdom, one of the UNSCP 5, does not have a written constitution. All customary law, unwritten law. That's the UK. Our forming enterprise that made us. That's reality. They were the empire that crafted us. And they still to this day don't have any codified constitution. None whatsoever. Meaning the parliament and the prime minister with opposition can change laws all the time. All the time. You wouldn't believe it. None of that matters. And no Canadians say, oh, we don't have to follow it because it wasn't done this way. Well, that's true if you could win a revolt, but here's the reality. Under that crap constitution that they wrote for themselves, as you state, USA says that isn't rule of law, and that definitely is not any form of real true democracy. They tell you that. All Democrats and Republicans in the high end education tell you this over and over. When I start going through their bullet points and what they study, they clearly say, Canada is not a functioning democracy. It's wrong. Wrong. However, who holds the police? Who holds the military? Who holds the might over the people? Well, that's the Canadian government elected in power. Along with their opposition parties, the whole of them operate in that system. They all relish it, live it, love it, like it, and they want it to go forever, because they fill their pockets at absolute your expense. And for you, Terry, I do see the First Nation symbolism. That means all of the treaty Indian, ceded or unceded. That means all their land, all your land. They will take it, they will wreck it, destroy it, lease it out, fill their back pockets, and hand the bill to the third-class citizen. That's how it works. That's how it works, ultimately. Go ahead, Tina.
Daryl McCoy says, Dave, I agree with you 100%. We may not agree on your vaccine opinions, but you were meant to do this. You need to address the convoy leaders and address them on this. Whether you believe this or not, we don't trust any of these government politicians who claim to be on our side. Look at Candice Bergen's speech today. This is our last stand, and I hope you can meet with these people. This is your time.
I know all of them, everybody, and Robert Lang is a living testament to that. I don't want to get into too much because I'm definitely not involved in the convoy. And I know people are trying to say, this is your time, this is your time. I don't know about that. I think we need to come out of the pandemic. My time is when I can go knocking on doors and I can talk face to face. No mask, no nothing. You're right. You can't trust any of the parties. I think a lot of them know that. It's just the problem is the amount of fiction. For me, and what I'm trying to do, to give always, and it was a discipline before. It's come much easier over the years, but it was a discipline. And to always tell the truth. Just, you know what? Who cares what everybody thinks? Just tell the truth. Because politicians lie every day of their lives constantly. And I wanted to make sure that, you know what? If I just tell the truth each and every day of my life, no matter what, at whatever expense, which means forgoing populism, things will work out. And I know they will. People will wake up to the truth. I just don't think it's the time now. That being said, I get the convoy. I get where people are at. The problem I have is the fictions. I don't want to be attached to any special interests. And I know the convoy people are attached to special interests, including conservatives themselves, who are liar, cheat, thieves like the rest. And I can't do it. I can't. And I don't want to get involved. I don't want to hurt the party, that's for sure. I'm not worried about jail or he's a terrorist. They've already nailed me. You will all find, if you want to look up Anti-Hate Network, I'm on there. 2 detailed stories. They tried to do me in My Politics 2019. I am not any of that, but it didn't matter. That's what they did to ruin me in the election, or attempt to. And then another, he's a commie, he's a socialist, and I had everybody going, he's a liberal. I've been accused of everything. Oh, pervert, offender. That woman later apologized. Of course, it's after the fact. We're all cool now. But, when you make up a story about a guy and you do him in, it's like when people do that, I live and let live. I won't ever hang out with these people like, hey, we're best buddies. But I can take an apology when I get one, and I did on a lot of fronts. Not all of them. There's a few outstanding, and it'd be nice if everyone was like that, but people aren't. And I just I can't get involved with the convoy people. I don't want to be associated as a fully vaccinated in any narrative of anti-vax. I don't believe that. And it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. I did my research. I've done it all over the world. Pfizer's already telling you what the score is. They always have. And I'm going to stick with that. I do believe in Operation Warp Speed. I was proud to be privileged to be in that with Canada. I told you COVID was isolated. I even had the greatest expert in Canada, Dr. Volker Gertz, right there in Western Canada, in Saskatchewan. And, I'd hoped some of those people had gone to him, but they don't want to, and it's okay, don't go to it. But for me, I can't remain a Canadian. It's the socialism that broke my back. That's just me personally. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. I just know for the work I'm going to do and how I feel in life, I work so tremendously hard for my kids. Everybody knows I'm divorced. I'm with Tina now. We have our family. I still have my girls. You pay all that. I don't mind. I really don't. Robert, I know you can relate to this. I don't mind working my life away hard as I have to for my family, for my children, for all of it. In fact, it makes me happy to know my children are doing well. I can make a difference in their lives. Of course, I don't know, as a father, who wouldn't want to be that? What bothers me is socialism, where it's like, hey, Dave, we also need to cut your income back, tax you a little bit more, and a lot of the money you make isn't going to benefit you and your family. It's going to benefit complete strangers. Now, I'm not a moron, everybody, to viable social programs. But when you're in Canada, the idea of a viable social program is a joke. The idea of a awesome public health care system is a joke. I've had lots of friends die. It's funny, cancer coming up here, and I'm not trying to. It's serious for a lot of people, and Canada, not all is rainbows and butterflies. Certain treatments have to be done quickly. Things need to be available. And this is where we've had a lot of trouble in the pandemic. So for me, because we're socialized medicine, I say, if you're going to get vaccinated, great, do it. I believe you should. The science says you should. If you don't, and you end up in hospital in those extreme costs, you should be willing to pay for that. And you know what? To even take it a step further, if the vaccines are not what they say they are, if somebody's got both doses and they're following their booster regimen and they end up in hospital with COVID-19 on a respirator, and these serious disease takes hold in a reasonable age where they shouldn't be, then maybe the vaccine company should be held liable, as should unvaccinated people be liable for those great expenses. A long COVID goes in the upward neighborhood of $174,000. I'm not going to work my life buying people condos for six weeks in ICU, another 6 week in hospital, fix up, get ready, walk again, learn to walk, talk, and breathe. I'm not paying for that, not on any major numbers. I already know our system can't handle it. We couldn't afford it before. At the same time, vaccination promises should be like this. But this is where you catch socialist government. Anti-vax, vax, doesn't matter. PCR tests, rapid tests, masking, screening, all this massive money on government crap. If you're vaccinated, you shouldn't have to participate with any of it domestically. You want to go fly to another country? That country has this set of rules. You choose to accept that, or you don't get on the plane. You get on the plane, you think you're going to go, listen to me, a-hole, I'm going to tell you how it is. You end up in one of those prisons. I'm not going to pay to get you out. You made your choice. You thought you could, you know what I mean? It's called individual responsibility. Something we have to learn in Canada. Something we have to learn, and Canadians don't know this. Canadians don't know King's Court. Canadians don't seem to think it's a big issue that your government changes laws like they change their underwear. That's bad. That is like checkmark number one for a country run by autocrats. Go look at it. I just did this mighty presentation with a SCOTUS Supreme Court Justice, SCOTUS, folks. Two of the top Democrat minds in constitutionalism, written books galore, running institutions of higher learning in the United States of America. People, you can't just go, get out of the way, idiot. You know what I mean? These people make laws for a living. They interpret, they teach, they build justices, they build judges, they protect constitutional institutions like America and many others. When these people have opinions, it's probably a good idea to sit down and listen. When they start talking about how your country, well, the country is built like yours operate, and then you start sharing stuff, and they say, well, read this, that's a no. They're already telling you, we already know, but what do you want us to do about it? It's your country. You fix it. That means all of you. Anything else there, Tina? Kind of went off the rails there, sorry. But no, at this time, I'm not going to address any more convoys, not live, not try to get in the belly of the beast. I'm waiting for my day on the doors when I don't have to wear a mask and I'm knocking.
Mostly just comments there or statements are being made. Not really any questions at all.
Yeah, I didn't really advertise a Q&A. Well, anyways, everybody, I think that's, I guess, it then. Oh, definitely I had COVID. My immune system took care of that. Yeah, Sadie, there's a lot of people, whether you're vaccinated or not, COVID doesn't even affect you. It's been 2 straight years for me, a year and about 2 months of that. There were no vaccines for me, as you know, and I never got sick once. All public, always out, met thousands of Canadians across Canada, massive live events, never so much as got a cold, and then to be honest, I get the flu, honest flu, not a drinking flu or whatever, right? I mean an honest flu, maybe once every 5 years, and a bad cold, that's usually from a place, Fort McMurray. It's, it's one of those places, it's cold at that time of year. You have people from all over the world there, filthy environment, filthy camps, large populous camps. Um, that's what happens. And since I've left that environment, I've never been sick. That's the truth, everybody. And like I said, I've been all over, everywhere, shaking thousands of hands, hugs everywhere, so many people, and I never got sick. Not once. So, yeah, like Robert says too. Okay, everybody, I guess that's it. It's bedtime for me, and check out my pictures tomorrow. A little special for you. Bye now.